Shut up and sit down.
Greetings! Welcome to Epic Fail, episode 176. I would say it would be the first Epic Fail of the year, for us at least, but that isn't a thing that is going to be true, because there was one last night. I'll get into that here shortly. And yeah, that was fun. With me this week, we've got Galv back. Hi, Galv.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, so thanks for having me back. I'm eager to hear about last night, because that sounds fun too. And there has been a lot of crazy stuff that's happened since our last session together.
Phrasing.
Right? So, you know, just as a little bit of foreshadowing here, yeah. But we'll get to that, I guess. We'll get to that. So, how was your holiday?
It was busy. As I said before we went on our impromptu hiatus for 2 weeks, I had planned on doing shows and stuff like that, but stuff kept coming up where it made it pretty much impossible. The one time I could have for a scheduled day, like since we normally record on Saturday nights, I was going to be over an hour late. And I was like, I know a lot of people go to bed shortly after they listen to us live, so I was like, I don't really want to try to keep them up. And I didn't have a co-host because whenever I found out about it, it was partway through the week, so it was just a whole mess. And then the other one, I was like, I'm just not going to be home. So
right,
yeah, it was not intentional, but it was a thing. As for the epic fail of last night, I've told a few people this, and some people have actually seen the work I put into it. I got talked into / volunteered / whatever you want to call it, running a D&D one-shot for some friends.
Nice.
A couple people from Rubber Chickens and Carrie from Hygel. And we all thought it was going to be last night, because no one had said they couldn't make it. But the way someone said something, the way they phrased it, they thought they said they couldn't make it, but it was just, everyone else took it as it would just be shorter, and we'd have to turn the one shot into a 2-shot.
Okay.
So
yeah.
They weren't home. And so we just did kind of a session 0 where I was like, okay, how long has your character been in this area? Okay. What do you want to do? Okay, roll some dice. Okay, this is the result of that. Anything else you want to do? Okay, this is the result of that. Blah, 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 blah. So
I want to shoot a magic missile at the darkness.
That's called nighttime.
Are there any chicks there?
Ironically, one person, and you would not be surprised if you knew the people in the game, decided to pursue that avenue of entertainment.
Oh man, you know the old footage I'm talking about, right?
I probably do, but
the one from the Summoner where the guys are sitting around the table and he's like shooting magic missile at the darkness, and the guy who's looking like a Diablo kind of dude is in the kitchen looking for Mountain Dew. He's yelling from the other room, "I'm going to the inn. I'm going to go see if there are any chicks there." And he's just...
Oh, yep, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while.
It's still funny.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of things are funny years later for completely different reasons, because a lot of them, there's Like, the Onyxia thing is still funny, even though Onyxia isn't a thing anymore.
Yes! That's so true.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been my out of game. Like, I haven't really been on the computer that much. I got messages, are you avoiding people? No, I just haven't been home.
Yeah.
And if I was avoiding people, more than normal, by the way, would I really say yes? But no,
Right?
I haven't. Like, I've been in WoW maybe an hour and a half a day, if that. Sometimes not even that. Like, enough to do my World Quest emissaries, and that's about it.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, or raid night, unless I'm not feeling good, and then I didn't go. But, like, I'll log in, do that real quick, and just log out. It's just one of those... It's a burnout thing, which I know it's a burnout thing, because I played the crap out of the first part of the expansion. And it happens,
absolutely.
so it's fine. And I know with the new raid coming here in a couple weeks, I'll be fine again then, probably.
I have to dial it back up a little bit, pay a lot more attention, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Played a bit of Overwatch.
Are you sure?
Every now and then I've played some Overwatch.
I mean, it was you, right?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay.
I think it was me. If it wasn't me, that's a surprise. There were a couple games where I would question it because their aim wasn't that bad. That's a joke that everyone will get later.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. How about you? How's your in-game and real-life stuff been?
It's been a phenomenal 2 weeks. So, got an early Christmas in with the fam, then took my kids on a Disney cruise with my parents and my brother and his kids. So we were down in Florida and then hit the Bahamas, and I mean, like, we don't get to do that. That's like a big deal. So it was a lot of fun. I had a blast, and on the second night of the Disney cruise, it was pirate night. So I was rocking my knee-high leather boots with the pirate pants and puffy shirt, and I had my Zuba headband on that's got my CTR 5-year pin, my pieces of 8, as it were, the CTR 5-year pin, my ETC pick from the 2 years ago or 3 years ago loot box, and Silver Bolt's CTR blue dragon scale keychain, which looked pretty awesome together. So I had a lot of fun showing that off. You know, it goes well as an ensemble. It looked good. I don't have any pictures to share with you tonight, but perhaps I can scrape some together when I get that stuff. Yeah, come on. Yeah, no, it was great. My kids, I'm landlocked where I live, so my kids have never been to the ocean before. That was a big deal. Hanging out with my brother because I don't live near him is a big deal, and all that. So that was great too. And when I was with my girlfriend's side of the family for Christmas, my white elephant gift this year was a Deadpool Bob Ross, and they last year they had a 6-foot-high Bob Ross cardboard cutout that was one of the gifts, and it was like wrapped huge, and we ended up taking our pictures with that because that was fun too. So that Deadpool Bob Ross was a hot item at the White Elephant, because then you try to steal the prizes from other people, the gifts. So it was a lot of fun. And then on game side, I'm working my DK up. He's 120. Got there on a couple hours over break, and started tanking some LFR and some dungeons, and I'm up to about like 340 in item level. So hopefully he'll be ready for Vex's team for the 22nd. But yeah, no, it's been, and of course keeping up with the news. Holy smokes! So
yeah, I had to pare down the news.
Yeah,
because I don't think a 3-hour show is something people really want.
no,
Like, okay, so this week this happened, this week this happened, this week this happened. So I was like, skip. Okay, that's cool, but maybe put it in. Okay, skip it later.
Yeah.
So I had 3 different versions of the show notes, and finally, this is one you got sent was the almost final one because something happened after I sent it.
I will say this is probably the most complete show notes I've seen from you for a while. Like the most, it's pretty flush.
Yeah, there's stuff. I mean, there are some stuff that a couple games I was like, There's nothing new here. Like Diablo. I mean, okay, we could talk about the event that happened last year. I guess we kind of should, but I forgot to add it. But I'm talking about it now, so it counts.
There's honestly too much from the last 2 weeks to go over to add in something. We got more meaty stuff to get to.
Yeah.
So,
but if you're a fan of Diablo 3 and you want to play the old Diablo, the old turn-back time system thing is back again this year. I didn't see anything new, so there you go.
Turn it back to where I could sell items for real money.
Not that kind of turn back. It's like Diablo 1 turn back. Play old Diablo 1 and Diablo 3.
Yeah. So Draven, there's been, since this is the podcast about all things Blizzard, including occasionally the edible kind, what's I know, right? we might need some comfort food to get through a couple of these items. What's at the top of your list tonight?
All right. I debated on a couple of these things as being put in the news, but in the interest of being fair, I am trying, like, in my mind, I want to, like, yay, Blizz! But at the same time, there's some things that are, like, kind of worrisome stuff, and it is news, so I put it in the interest of that.
Okay.
And first off, a couple weeks, we're within the break time that we had. News came out that Blizzard was paying 100 employees to stop working there. This was a year pay, so they wouldn't be left out in the dark completely. And it ended up being like the call center people over in the EU and stuff like that. And everyone made a big deal out of this. And yeah, okay, it sucks for those people who don't have their jobs. They did get a year pay, though, so that's nice.
It's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm looking at it, I was like, over here in the U.S., we haven't had that in how long? And our feedback stuff, it takes a little longer than the instantaneous now, but it's not that bad overall.
Right.
I mean, it's not like hey, you had to wait 6 days. 7 days. No, it's usually a day or two tops. If there's a lot of them. A couple hours is average, I think. Depending on the time of day you get it, that kind of thing. But.
Right. So, I don't talk often about my professional background, but in the world of business or finance, with some emphasis on stocks and things like that, I feel like this is Activision's one of their methods to improve their share value, I would say. And when you do things like this, you're eliminating long-term expenses for a short-term item that you can just check off the list. So you can say, yeah, we'll take a hit this quarter, paying someone a year's salary, and 100 people does move the needle. So, but in the future, that stream of expense goes away, right? So, this to me, when I see stuff like this, one thing that Blizzard has always been to me is an outfit that really pushed for things for players, stories for customers. It was a very, make your customers happy kind of place. And this decidedly feels like a more corporate move. Is that a politic enough way of saying it?
Well, I'm not arguing with that, but at the same time, like I said a couple minutes ago, over here in the U.S., we haven't had the callback live chat stuff for how long? And it really didn't change a whole lot. So overall, I don't, like, a lot of people were making a bigger deal out of this than I think it really was. I mean, yeah, it sucks for those people. They got to go find new jobs, but they do have a year to do that.
Yeah.
So it's, that was at least nice. I just don't think it was as big of a deal as, oh my God, Blizzard is killing their stuff. No, it's getting rid of stuff that probably isn't overall needed as much.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of the fact that the U.S. side hasn't had that call center available for
It's
a
been
while now.
years. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
at least 2 expansions.
So, I mean, right there, it might not be as significant of a move as people make it out to be.
Yeah, and the only downside that I can think of is, would the world first people, do they have a direct line to someone else? Be like, hey, there's a bug here. I mean, we know that Blizzard's watching them for the world first race and that kind of thing.
Right.
But
And,
I would
and the
assume they have to
EU is
contact
where that
someone.
is. Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, the EU is where the majority of that happens.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I would imagine they have their own special, here's a phone number you guys can call to let us know, hey, we think this is a bug.
So the news articles that we're seeing, the reason I thought of it the way I did is because it says in the headlines as stocks crash. So I'm wondering if that's why. You know what I mean? But it might be simply that they're like you said, they're being consistent with they don't need that anymore.
Yeah,
I mean,
and this one in particular is just a keeping with the other regions. Like, I think EU was the last place that had the live call center, the live feedback thing. So why not make it same as everywhere else?
I'm gonna go check this out real quick here while we're talking. So Activision Blizzard stock is opposed to what else is going on? $47.53 a share. This might be a little too technical for what we normally do, but if you're looking at the 1 year history on the price, it's been as high in the last 52-week range as $85 a share. So
it's gone down recently.
It's half of its 1 year range.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's included any splits.
So my problem with using the stock thing, because I've been watching when I've had the time late at night, watching a ton of videos on this stuff, and a lot of them have been negative, and I'm just like, done with you. I mean, some of it, as long as it's not presented as, see, Blizzard is screwing you, that that kind of thing, I'll keep watching it just because, but if they're doing Blizzard screwing you, then I don't. One of them brought up that a lot of gaming stocks have been going down, not just Blizzard. So to say, Diablo Immortal, yes, they took a hit from that because the reception to it was negative. No matter how great the game might end up being, the reception at the time was negative. Stocks took a hit, and it's kind of been going in that direction because games are just... And,
so there was no stock split, by the way. They've never split their stock, not in modern in their modern incarnation. So that's fully, the fluctuation of their value is down. Not hugely. I mean, the market is the market, but yeah. But I think that ties in with some other things we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has to do with stuff that we are talking about and have talked about and will talk about tonight. And probably in the next few weeks, for that matter, judging by where everything is going. But I'm just saying, using the stock market and their prices have gone down, most especially since BlizzCon, I don't think that's a good way to judge the company overall, because it's every gaming company, because gamers are just in a overall, and I don't know how to fix that, except that there are some things being said that I agree with, some things that I don't, and it's just one of those wait and see kind of things without going into all kinds of details and all that fun stuff that other videos, go over to YouTube and look it up. They'll say it better because they do it more professionally than we do, that kind of technical detail. It's kind of a wait and see, and not it's Blizzard, it'll be great. That's kind of where the mood has shifted to. But same with everywhere else. So
yeah, I mean, I've seen the same sort of thing out of Bethesda, which was one of my
the new Fallout game. Yeah.
Yep, and I know that everyone wants to be MMORPG, like that's the natural. a lot of people have been clamoring for a multiplayer version of Fallout for years. It seems like the next big way to break that genre open. But again, I think that the overall arc of the industry right now is pushing towards those mobile game microtransactions being incredibly lucrative in a how much you make versus how much you have to spend to make it sort of way. Your return on investment. And what I think the soul of gaming to me has been is the robust experience, immersion, storytelling. And although I do enjoy my mobile gaming, games like World of Warcraft and Fallout 4 or Fallout 3, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls kind of stuff, have been at the top of my list. Those kind of games, Far Cry or those. So I just hope that we don't see those AAA titles retreating from that kind of development because they can make a quicker buck or more bang for their buck going with those other kinds of games. So
yeah, I'm just looking at my phone now. How many games do I have on my phone? They have ads on them. Like every so often an ad will pop up and you gotta watch it to keep playing. But I have 0 games that have power-ups via microtransactions. I've got the world domination game Plague Inc., which is you...
I love that one.
Yeah, I've got that.
I've got my 8-year-old boy playing that now.
Yeah. I've got that, and I've got, I have Plants vs. Zombies, but I haven't played it since they switched over to you have to buy these flowers now, instead of just complete the stuff and get it.
At least with Plague Inc., it's episodic. Like if you paid $2.99, you get like the vampire collection, so you can play that scenario. It's not. Yeah,
you can pay to play extra stuff, and
right.
All it does is help you unlock everything faster, which is whatever, cool, whatever. But
I
honestly,
think the vampire.
I haven't even loaded it in ages. Like my phone has literally been connect to Discord, Twitter, that kind of thing, Twitch, YouTube, depending on where I am. I'm not using it for games. I never have been a mobile gamer outside of, Game Boy, Sega, whatever the handheld Sega thing was, and stuff like that. But that was way back when it was not the same thing. Like you bought the game and no microtransactions at all, because obviously the technology wasn't there for it. And if you wanted to play with other people, you had a wire that connected to them.
Do you see though, like what I was talking about as being something that
Oh yeah, microtransactions are where the money's made for 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in my experience, I don't play games that, if there are microtransactions, if it's power related, I stop playing the game. End of story. I don't care how much I like the game, I just stop. If it's cosmetic, fine. If it's like in your face, like, hey, do this, like a certain Star Wars PC game that came out, Old Republic, I stopped playing that one too. Like I didn't even get to level 20. And by the time you get to like 16, it's, hey, buy a subscription every time you do anything, so you can unlock anything. I'm like, uninstall. Not fun anymore.
So not to push the narrative forward, but I think the reason that we're so involved on this topic of discussion is because of 2 of the next 3 things that you have on the show notes. So,
yeah.
What do you want to touch on first?
Yeah, we might as well go in order. That's the order that news came out.
Okay.
So, do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
Well, yeah. Let's just. I'll do the first one. Activision Blizzard's CFO, and this is the Activision Blizzard CFO, was fired, sort of, because they were poached away by Netflix. So,
well, kind of.
Right. It's tough to say, but losing your CFO for any reason, and this wasn't a retirement, is a significant statement of something that's happened for the finances of the company. What's
Except,
your...
well, the Activision Blizzard CFO was quote unquote fired, still getting paid but fired,
Right.
which makes no sense to me. But but he was we'll just say fired,
right.
for unrelated reasons.
Yes.
And I'm like, how are you? There's something there that
not related to job
not
performance, I guess, is the point.
It wasn't a money related thing,
right?
So whatever.
Bad BO. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And then it came out that he was going to leave anyway to go to Netflix. So maybe they found out and said, "You can't quit. We fire you." Instead of the other way around, "You can't fire me. I quit."
Right. Or maybe cut ties before there was any impropriety that could have taken place. Like oftentimes when you put in your 2-week notice on a sensitive job and they say, yeah, but we're just going to go ahead and let you leave early. Not because of animosity, but because...
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, there's no anger between them. I haven't...
Right.
I went looking. So, who knows? So it was probably... In all honesty, Netflix probably bought out the rest of the dude's contract, so he could go right away, and they just had to do it in such a way that made them look not as bad.
Could be. I don't see any red flags here. This looks like normal.
The whole CFO part, but yeah.
Right. It's the CFO. So the part that I think is significant with that, and you've got, I'm sure you'll have a bit on that, but is that person is pretty important to the how the company makes money sort of way, taking care of the financial structuring and reporting.
Yeah. Chat room in particular, Alessandro is saying it feels like he saw the writing on the wall and just decided to get out. That is possible. But the problem is what we see as the writing on the wall doesn't necessarily mean we're seeing all of the writing on the wall. Like, we're only seeing what's being made public. We're not seeing any of the behind-the-scenes stuff except for what is being made public.
Exactly. And keep in mind, this is the Activision Blizzard CFO. Yeah. So this is the parent company's... It's not like the CFO of Blizzard's like, oh, the Blizzard crew is gone, so now I'm going to go.
Yeah, it's almost... It's not like the CFO of Blizzard got hired by the Final Fantasy people over at Square.
Right. Oh, that's another great... Well, wait. They did.
Well, maybe not the Final Fantasy people. Square in general, yeah.
Which, by the way, when I was talking about my groups, my companies, it's been Blizzard, it's been Bethesda, and before those two, it was Square with Final Fantasy. And not just Final Fantasy, they had Kingdom Hearts, they had, Square has 2 or 3 properties that I just used to be hooked on when I was younger, and I still keep up. So, yes, man, I've got them on a shelf I can't quite reach from here. I've got Final Fantasy VII, I've got Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy Tactics, which is one of my favorites. But Final Fantasy Tactics is a beast to play through. Yes, that was probably my favorite. I played the original Final Fantasy on Nintendo. I played Final Fantasy on Game Boy. That's a good one. Eject shot is something that you can tell who knows, who doesn't know. So yeah,
now I'm gonna have to go listen to that dang Blitzball song.
Right? How much Blitzball did you play? I played a ton of Blitzball.
Which playthrough?
Oh man,
I went through a playthrough with very little Blitzball, and then I found out you needed Blitzball to get the one guy's whose name I can't remember, his best weapon.
Right.
And
then you were hooked.
And then I went through and I played it because I didn't really care for it the first time. And then I was like, I wonder. And then I started getting really good players, and I had the really good shots. And it got to the point where I didn't even try anymore. I got my main guy the ball, and I gave him the power, the eject shot. It was so powerful that I could literally be anywhere on the map and it would score.
It can be, yes. Depending on which team you were playing. Like some of the poor island teams, you would just...
Didn't matter.
You could eject shot from the goalie position and win.
I was literally winning every game like 12 goals to nothing because it was, it takes energy to use it. And, you have to build that up. But yeah, I played a lot of Blitzball for a while.
So that is Square's chief executive, Jack Dorsey, hired Amrita, and I won't be able to say this last name right, Ahuja, and that was the Blizzard CFO. So Activision Blizzard, which said Monday that it planned to fire the company's CFO Spencer Newman, who ended up with Netflix. So now then Blizzard's CFO also gone there. Square is SPX, is that, no, SQ? CNBC. So I'm going to check on Square stock real quick here, just as a curiosity, because this is a lot of financial news for these companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, CFOs are not quite CEO or COO level, but they're pretty freaking close. And
they're top 8 in the company, yeah.
Yeah, and depending on the company and who you decide is actually running it, CFO might actually have more say than the CEO, which makes no sense to me whatsoever, but it's a thing that happens.
It depends on the structure. So just as a comparison, Square Inc. is at $58.18 a share, higher than Blizzard, but that is just relative to
been around
share
longer,
dilution.
they've got more games. I mean, if they ever do release 7 remastered, then their stock, as long as it doesn't suck, their stock is going to skyrocket for a little bit.
But price per share isn't indicative of market cap. Like, if Activision is worth $5 billion and Square is worth $2 billion, the difference of shares could account for why the price is there. But in the 52-week range, Square's at about 58% of the $101 high in the last year. So they're in the 52-week average. They're floating a little higher, I guess. Just as a comparative point here, since we're talking CFOs floating around.
Yeah. And I mean, you just said it there. They're at like 52% of what their highest level was. So everyone is going. It's not just Blizzard. It's not just Activision. I wish it would be just Activision and EA.
Right.
That would be going down. But it's all of them, and a lot of it has to do with just the. I mean, it all comes down to money, honestly, but.
I think there's 3 major things that I would think may be influencing it, and that's the trade troubles between China and the U.S., where a lot of these video game intellectual properties go back and forth, and part of that we may see some massive improvement over the next year if China and the rest of the world can get on the same page with protection of intellectual properties. That might stabilize some of that as far as the video game or technical aspects, because if you look at a lot of these, there's all these Chinese companies that run the local version of the game you like to play, which doesn't even mean that it's the game you like to play. It could simply be that they copied all of the code and run their own version of it in China and make all the money for themselves. So there's some of that. And then, of course, the general stock market dip that's happened in the last month. And I guess the third thing would be specifically with the microtransaction nervousness across the globe. It's getting a lot of attention from legislations and rule makers and stuff like that.
I would add in public perception would be on there also.
Absolutely.
Consumer confidence, that kind of thing. I mean, it's not in the notes because they're not technically Blizzard anymore, but some of the ex-Hearthstone guys are.
Yes.
I made this picture. I'm going to put it here on the screen here momentarily.
It's on the same article page. Second Dinner is on the same article page. Is that note from Blizzard's CFO getting hired by?
All right, it's not.
While you do that, I'll talk about it. Former Hearthstone director Ben Brode, and who was the other guy? Crap, the other guy was one of the big dudes too for Second Dinner. Hamilton Chu who both left Blizzard to form Second Dinner, a new game development studio, are prototyping a new game for Marvel and NetEase. So, I know which picture you're linking right now. So, the good news is, I hate to say this is good news because I don't want to be. I am playing favorites. I thought that Ben Brode always did a good job, and Hamilton Chu I know much less of. But I like seeing those people have success. I associate them with parts of the games I like positively. Your take?
Yeah. I mean, Hearthstone was great for a while for me, but it just became to the point where it's one of those games where if you don't keep up all the time, you fall too far behind. But it's a card game. That's what happens.
Sure.
There are games like Heroes and Overwatch and even WoW to kind of an extent, because there's a 1.5 2 year reset every so often, where it doesn't matter if you fall behind. You can still keep up and play and be competitive because it's just how the games work. Whereas in card games, they have to make the new stuff better and better and better. And if you don't have the old stuff, you can't even get the new stuff without paying tons of money. And it's a card game. That's how they work. I just decided I put way more money into it than I wanted to, than I want to admit. Not as much as Heroes. That's another sore spot, but it's just one of those things where it's like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm done. I got my entertainment out of the game. I don't need it anymore. But I'm getting so much amusement out of this picture. Yes, I made it, so that helps me with the amusement. Fans are raging over Diablo NetEase mobile game. But they're loving ex-Blizzard NetEase Marvel mobile game. And I'm just like,
we'll have to wait and see what comes of it, because it could be great. It could be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a fun, great game. Honestly, I'm going to wait to see what it looks like, what kind of game it is, that kind of thing, before I make any judgments at all on it, because all we know is it's a Marvel mobile game. That's it. And NetEase. And
there's plenty of Marvel mobile games out there already.
Yeah, I downloaded a couple of them, and within 5 minutes got rid of all of them.
Yeah.
I don't like that style of controller, which is why I know I am not going to like the Diablo Immortal.
Gotcha.
Because it's the same system. I don't like that style. Maybe if I just didn't get used to it, because it takes a little while. People usually say about 20 minutes. No, I don't like it. If I want to play a game like this with something in my hand, I'm going to turn on... I'm old. My PS2, because that's the newest one I got. Hence why I was able to show those games on hand.
That's a great system. I still have my PS2 plugged in 3 feet away.
I've got a couple PS1 games that I can play because I have the
reverse compatibility.
But I have the little memory card things. Remember when those weren't, built into your system? You had to actually buy things to plug in.
I have a stack of memory cards with my different Final Fantasy stuff. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pull the game out, but I've got the Metal Gear Solid collection.
Yes,
for PS2.
That's another great game. Metal Gear Solid 2 were fantastic. I still remember the opening sequence where you're sneaking across the front of that container ship, and you've got your first mission up with the silenced pistol.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I've played most of them. Like I've bits and pieces via friends and/or my brother who has a newer system than me. Because I just got out a console game. I was like, I've got Final Fantasy VII, which, if you want to do everything, can take you over 100+ hours.
Yeah, I got more than that in
Final Fantasy, per time going through it. Final Fantasy VIII is roughly about 60 hours. 9 is about 65, 70. 10 is only like 20, 25. 30 if you really want to push it. Yeah, it wasn't a whole lot to it. But it was the graphics at the time were, oh my god. So everyone forgave it.
Yeah.
And, depending on how you liked it, Blitzball.
And Final Fantasy X too.
Never played that one.
It's alright. I can't highly endorse it.
I tried to play it, and then I saw the costume change thing, and I was like, can I have a refund?
Right. Makes you happy for stores like GameStop.
Well, yeah, they gave me about $1.34 for it, so
No, it's going to buy it. That's why.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It was the you went around and toured as was it Yuna?
Yeah.
Like the singing tour of Yuna, the performer.
I probably would have liked it more if I would have played it longer. It was just one of those games. Like the initial, I don't like how this system works. Done.
I did like the
initial
Final
reaction.
Fantasy X's talent web. I liked that. I liked doing that. If you remember it.
Yeah. Pluses and minuses.
Yeah. So, not to derail us back on the track here, but is that the...
In terms of the corporate stuff that is made public, yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. I mean, I guess there's something in Overwatch we could call a corporate thing, but that's more of an Overwatch thing, and yeah. So we're going to cover that over in Overwatch, which will make that joke from way earlier make sense. So, what did Alessander send us for StarCraft?
Not much.
Yeah.
But, yep, there's a couple of little nuggets in there. Of course, what you really need to do is just tune into Alessander to get her weekly updates in StarCraft instead of listening to us. IEM Kato Vice qualifiers began today. There wasn't any big announcements for the rest of the season.
Nice.
So, yeah, not a lot of StarCraft news because of the holiday.
Yeah. It happens. It's holiday. Everyone has family that they either do or do not want to deal with. And they deal with them. Or they enjoy their company, whichever.
Or they don't.
Yeah. Well, that'd be dealing with then. Or they don't, yeah. There's a couple years that I didn't have to deal with any of my relatives because of where I lived, and I was like, this is so much more peaceful. Downside, I didn't get home-cooked meals from, all the relatives, and some of them are really good, and I was really sad. Upside, I didn't have to deal with anyone, but downside to that was, well, at least I have a turkey TV dinner. I did that for Christmas one year.
You did a turkey TV dinner for Christmas?
Yeah, I can't cook.
I can cook.
I mean, there's a few things I can cook. Not very well, maybe, but I can cook them. But in terms of full big meals like that, one, I wasn't going to do that just for myself, and two, I'm nowhere near good enough for that. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the turkey. That would have been me cooking.
Oh man.
Anyway, getting back on track. I do know that what's it called? Is it the War Chest?
I'm looking right now to take a peek at StarCraft.
Yes, War Chest. If you watch streams for that, there's a War Chest you can get. You get just by watching streams, you'll get XP towards it, that kind of thing.
And that's the Katowice tournament that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Very briefly.
I will be checking that out. Not this moment, but I'll be at least checking the tournaments out. I always try to catch a couple minutes of them here and there when I have a spare minute, which lately has not happened between everything else. Between I want to game stuff, real life stuff, dealing with family stuff, dog sitting for my mom stuff, and then recently, in the last few weeks anyway, putting that D&D thing together because you can't win the whole thing.
I'm glad you did though. That's a great group thing to do.
Yeah, I'm either over prepared or way under prepared depending on what they decide to do.
That's just your style.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on. Oh, wrong tab there. Moving on. Heroes of the Storm, the game that is kind of dead. But isn't dead because we just got a new hero. He's on PTR. He'll be live Tuesday.
Didn't you call this?
I called it for BlizzCon. Now here's my problem. In years past, Even though we didn't always get everyone that they announced that day or that week or whatever, they would announce multiple heroes at BlizzCon, and then you'd get them eventually, within the next couple
Trickled out.
months.
Right.
What stopped them from doing that this time? We got Orphea for BlizzCon.
Right. They should have just announced Imperious then.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
She's not terrible. She's not my favorite, but she can be fun in the right situation. They could have said, he's not ready yet. He's coming in January. Boom.
All they needed to do was show a clip from Diablo. They've already got footage. This guy's original artwork isn't brand new.
Yeah, put his little spear thingy on there. Just a tease of him would have been more than enough to people would be like, boom, and it would have been more than enough for me to say, yep, I called it, Imperious, there you go, boom.
Right.
But it didn't matter anyway.
And not just to massage your ego.
Oh, no.
They didn't start development after BlizzCon. They had this thing 80% done. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't have just rolled it out in January by the 5th if they didn't already have some of that done.
Presuming he comes out on Tuesday and the average time is about 8 to 9 months, he was about 68% done at BlizzCon.
Exactly. And
but they knew he would have been the next one.
Out. Right.
They knew he was next, and they just didn't. I'm just like, you just announce it.
Yeah.
Blizzard, you used to remember this, and I wish you would go back to this. Just because you announce something doesn't mean you have to give everyone a sample of it right then and there. If he wasn't ready, say he's not ready, he'll be ready come January, February, whenever he would be ready.
Right.
Back when there was other examples, like I know Greymane didn't come out right away, or maybe it was Lunaro didn't come out. I mean, that year there was like 3 or 4 different heroes that came out from BlizzCon.
And they just said,
and they weren't all ready right then and there. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, you can do that. That's fine. We don't need a playable demo every time you announce something. A teaser for Diablo 4, which everyone knows is coming, even though you haven't announced it. Put a Diablo skull with a 4 on it, or just put a 4 up on the screen and make it burst into flames.
Well,
all you would
fantastic 4 logo, right?
Well, it doesn't have to be that style of the number 4.
Right. Like Roman numeral 4 is probably what you're going to see.
Yeah. And just, make it burst into flames. So anything that would have teased something would have made Diablo Immortal, while probably not a great reveal, would have made it go so much better.
I'm not a marketing guy, but occasionally I am an idea guy. Like, imagine if 3 of Diablo's claws come tearing through the screen on fire, and the third one, the 2 of them collapse into the V for the IV. You know what I mean? So the claws come through, and the fire trail ends up as the Roman numeral 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still harping on this from BlizzCon, and I realize I'm still harping on it. That I don't always like everything every game company does. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. Square, sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. Blizzard, more often than not, hits more than misses. At least until the last couple months. And now it just seems like, okay, who knows? But it would have. One thing I do think Bethesda did amazing. They released whatever mobile game they did, and then they give a throwaway teaser for the next Elder Scrolls game. It gave you nothing except scenery, and then the name or the logo, and that was it. And I was like, genius. Blizzard, you could have done that. I'm going to move on. I'm not going to bring that up again this show, hopefully. I won't promise to never bring it up again.
Well, as I say, even one of my favorite modern, the Fallout 76, which I haven't even played because having researched it, I'm not interested. And I love Fallout games. But you've seen their commercial, right? The first commercial that came out where it's like wouldn't it be nice to be together with the girl with the 2 Uzis just like turning in a happy circle, pouring bullets into zombies. That was a great. It had nothing to do with the game, but as far as just an announcing of the style with the music, it was great.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was.
I've seen some people play Fallout. Like I've watched some streams of a couple streamers I know have played it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It doesn't look like it's terrible. It just looks like it wasn't what people expected. It's like, from what I'm gathering, I've never played DayZ, or it's like DayZ PUBG kind of game with a Fallout skin on top of it, with quests.
I feel like they picked the wrong setting because there's no NPCs. It's like the very first people to come out of the vaults, and nothing is developed yet. Like the whole world is dead already. So, except for like the mutants and things that survived, but unlike the other Fallout games, you don't just like walk up to Diamond City where civilization is pooled together and stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
it's not a game I'm gonna play because I'm not into that kind of game. Like I tried to play PUBG for a while. I played it for a while. If I opened it up now and I could find out how long it's been since I've played it, I would guarantee you it's been over a year. Like it's probably. Yeah, it's been at least over a year since I played it. I'm not a big into that kind of game, so I just whatever. If you like it, great. If not, it's not for you. Move on. You don't need to go dive bombing and saying this is the worst game ever. No, it's really not. If you want to know the worst game ever, look up a game called E.T.
Legendarily bad.
It is legendary how bad it is. It was so bad they tried to bury it on the moon. Just ask Futurama.
Right. It's an Atari game, but yeah. So there is no Hearthstone news of note.
I didn't figure there was.
Aside from community stuff, like the guys in Into the Wild are really doing strong with some of their stuff, and like the community people are having a blast in the meta. That's what they do, though. How do you bend these rules? How do you break these rules? How do you make your paper, rock, scissors decks to beat the people who are on the top of the heap, kind of thing? So they're having fun, but that's them. That's it for Blizzard news, right? There's no other games left aside from Diablo, StarCraft, Heroes, and Hearthstone.
Well, it depends on who you ask. But we do have some news for Overwatch.
What?
Yeah. Oh, what happened during the break? This is one of those things that stayed on one of my original versions of the notes when it happened. So, Blizzard and Twitch got together and had an idea. They were going to get a group of remarkable people together. I'm kidding. That's Avengers. Sorry. But in order to combat toxicity in chat, you have to connect your Battle.net account to your Twitch account to chat in the official Play Overwatch channel during the season. I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, in terms of dealing with toxic people, it's great. Do what you can to get rid of the toxic people. There are more people that watch it than have Battle.net accounts. Well, maybe not Battle.net accounts, but would be willing to, like, what happens if you want to say something or ask a question and you don't have a Battle.net account linked or a Battle.net account at all?
Get one?
What if you don't want one? You don't play games.
Don't ask a question. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't, then you literally can't chat in that. Now, that is only for their official channels.
Right.
If we host Overwatch League, you could come to our channel and chat and say whatever you want, minus the words.
All the toxic stuff you could... Oh, wait, there is a limit.
Yeah, minus the words that we have set up that you can't say. And then even then, if we saw it, if it was too much, we'd ban you anyway. But why would you be in our channel? You could be in the real one. But then you can't be in the real one if you want to chat. So it's just one of those things. It's like, I can see the plus side, but at the same time, I can see the minus side. And it's like, which one do I want more? Honestly, I think they need to find another way to go against the toxic.
So I also have mixed feelings about this. And here's the two things is I can't, in my mind, wrap my head around people who are toxic out there who say the things they say and do the things they do that, like, that's not how I think, so I don't know why anyone would do that. But for a fact, they do these things, and having their accounts linked with that stuff provides a measure of accountability if Blizzard wants to go and enforce those rules.
I get that, and I'm all for that. But my problem comes from what I was just saying. What if they don't have a BattleNet account? What if they are coming from another game and they just happen to see it and, oh, what's this? Then they can't talk and ask questions. Maybe they would be toxic, maybe they wouldn't be, who knows? But you just eliminated all those people that don't have BattleNet accounts.
So what you're saying is it may limit growth of the fan base and or player base because it's not you can't just say, oh, well, the only people that'll participate in the Overwatch League are existing players.
Yeah, in terms of the chat room, you can still watch on that channel. You just can't say anything if this goes through. Now, they're not going to do it right away with Overwatch League. They're going to try it with contenders first, see how it works. I don't know that they thought. I'm sure they have, but they just didn't really think it through. With what I had just brought up, the whole, you can't, what if it's a real, genuine, hey, why did they pick this person instead of this person? If as long as they're not being trolly, I don't see a problem with anyone talking. The only thing I can really think of is keep the room in slow mode so you can only say one thing a minute, and put more moderators in there to watch it. Sure. Yeah. I mean, having the BattleNet account adds accountability. You can add that and give people rewards for that, which they do. Because I love getting those free loot boxes.
That's true.
But I don't think I've said a single word in the chat room.
Other than whatever the keyword is to get the loot, no.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then there's that. But I'm talking. Actually, no, they don't even do that. They just, as long as you watch. Every now and then they'll do a keyword. But I think
the very first one was a keyword.
Yeah. I think they've done it a couple times, but I almost never talk in Twitch chat unless it's like a streamer I know. And then I'll say hi, and then every now and then if I have something, I'll say something. Or, if it's someone I've interacted regularly, I'll be kind of a little more chatty. But
sure.
In terms of like watching, that'd be like me going over into League of Legends Worlds and being like, oh man, they should pick Draven because he's the best. I don't know if he's the best. I'd say that just because he's got my name. And the last time I played that game, I got the best score possible. But that's another story. But I don't understand the toxic thing. Like, I can understand being upset at something. I really can. I don't understand getting so upset about things that don't actually affect you. Now, if you're betting money on these things, then yeah, it'll affect you. But that's your own stupid.
I think the thing that really sets me off is cheaters. That's about it. Because
speaking of cheaters.
Yeah, sorry. Yes, that is a unintentional segue. I was just saying the only thing I ever get remotely toxic about in like whether it was Counter-Strike or whatever is when people were overtly cheating, like maybe this next bit.
Yeah, chat room brought up they were afraid we were going to talk about something and we just hadn't got there yet.
That's exactly what's next on the list. Yeah,
so one of the Overwatch teams hired a girl whose real name has never come out that I've seen. Admittedly, I have not gone looking all that hard because I really don't care about her name.
The handle's Ellie.
It handles Ellie. And she got hired to play on a semi-pro team.
Second Wind.
Yeah, Second Wind, which would be semi-pro then.
Right.
And all these people were like, this person came out of nowhere. She's not even really a girl, blah, blah, blah. Someone else is playing her account, all these things. And I was getting upset on her behalf because you don't need to deal with that.
There,
I don't care. You don't need to deal with that. And then news came out that it ended up they were right. And now they're going to use that as justification to do that all the time.
right. So there's like a couple of different threads here. First off, there's a culture of people who are upset that girls play. And when they log on...
Before you go on, to those people, I'm going to say, get over it. This is not the 80s, and even then, girls played. They were just more secret about it than guys were because they can't be nerds for some reason. I don't know. Get over it. First off, girls make up approximately 50% of the population of the planet.
Right.
If you think there's, other than going to the bathroom standing up with possible accuracy, and even then, you never know.
So here is the relation to the Ellie though. So the experience of Ellie and some other people, and forget for a moment the second half of the story. Okay, what happens is when you get to the top tiers of competitive play, and people hear a girl's voice as one of the players, they start swearing. AFK out of matches, quit, throw the matches, because, in their opinion, having a girl on their team means they're automatically going to lose. Who the hell should be thinking like this? The answer is nobody. I mean, what the hell?
So, I've been in games with girls. Sometimes they are terrible. Even by my standards.
Just like guys.
Just like guys.
Just like guys.
Sometimes I've been in a team and there was a girl who picked Widowmaker, and you know what happened? She got play of the game by headshotting the entire enemy team in 6 shots. Guess what? Their girls are just like guys, minus equipment. They come in various skill levels for playing games. Get over yourselves, you misogynistic, idiotic men.
Right. And so, as a guy, I can say I do like to appreciate the female form. That's partially biological. I'm responding to chat room. But when it comes to things like the rest of life, where you're having to do some sort of merit-based comparison, base it on merit. Content of what you're doing, not the demographic of the person doing it. That's play the game, have fun, play with people.
Yeah,
right.
I just the whole girls. I will make the joke: girls don't play games. Girls don't play WoW. But I do that from a place of I know for a fact girls do. Our raid team has multiple. Every raid team I've ever been in has had at least 1 or 2.
Right.
Admittedly, one of those raid teams, we had to form a strategy around that person dying in the first 30 seconds. But that proves my point I just made. Various skill levels. It happens. It's fine. If you think that your team is going to lose because there's a girl on it, your team is probably going to lose because you're on it.
So, in the back half of this story, I don't appreciate the toxicity and trolling, even if you're going to accuse this person of, well, you're not even playing, because in a lot of the anecdotes, Ellie's voice wasn't matching up with the gameplay. The response time wasn't correct. Like people that played in those matches had suspicions. That's fine. I mean, you can be suspicious, you can air your grievances, you can air your suspicions, but the toxicity really has no place. It's only going to cause problems for everyone. So,
yeah,
however...
Even Gregory, how do you say her name? Who is on the freaking Shanghai Dragons, had to go through this. You know what happened?
Yes.
Blizzard put her in a room because they knew she wasn't cheating. They put her in a room, filmed it, and watched her play, and put it out. And then people were like, oh, crap. And you know what happened? She's on the freaking Shanghai Dragons. Yes, they're the lowest ranked team in the thing, but that doesn't mean she's bad either. Guess what?
You're talking
She could
the top,
probably beat the crap out of you, that's for sure.
right? You're talking about even Kaguri is in like what the top 1/100th of 1% of all Overwatch players, the best of the best of the best. Now, amongst the pros, you're talking about an elite, tiny pool of players compared to the actual player base. Fine, whatever. But yeah,
She's
I
still a
mean,
freaking pro.
correct, and deserves the credit that goes with it. Better than most of those ladder players.
She is actually the first Overwatch League skin I bought. Was Shanghai Dragons Diva, and I am still to this day using it.
I mean, if that's what you want to, wear as your pajamas, that's fine. But,
Hey, look at it this way. I tell people that I'm terrible at the game. I pick the quote-unquote worst team to have a skin of a team with. And that way, if I do really good, it'll be a surprise to everybody. The enemy team will see Shanghai Dragons fan. Okay, this person must suck. You do something good. Oh, crap. Now we have to actually plan for taking this person out.
all right. So we're gonna turn the page on this story. Ellie gets signed on by Second Wind. Tons of harassment happens, which is what we've been talking about. So Ellie quits. The pro quits. However, amidst accusations of harassment, I can't deal with this. I just want to play the game. But now there's a third page to the story, Draven, which is...
Turns out those toxic people were right. It was someone else playing her account. It has been confirmed by the Second Wind Twitter account. And that makes me sad on so many levels. Not just because the toxic people were right, but that someone did that in the first place.
Right.
This makes our show feel like I need to rename it to "This Isn't Quite an Epic Fail" compared to that.
We're less of a fail than those people.
Because, well, if you think about it, they hired someone they didn't know. They did no research on the person. They just hired based on reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, fine, but you should probably have them, like, play with your group in the same building to get, I don't...
They call it a tryout.
Yeah. But...
A test match, tryout.
Yeah, even if it's... And then if they don't perform as well, then something is weird and whatever. But I don't care. Obviously, I do care that this was not her playing and all that. I don't care the reason, the level of toxic stuff. There's no reason for it ever. End of story.
Yep.
Yes, it sucks that this has happened. I'm calling it a bigger fail on Second Wind than anyone else.
Yep.
And
it might not be as big of a fallout, but you're right. There's so many levels of disappointment here. I was excited to hear about a second pro.
Yeah, semi-pro, but yeah.
Well, right, yeah. I want to see people lifted up that have the merit, because it should be merit based, and people start changing the culture of how they treat other people based on gender in video games. It has no place. I like playing games with girls. I mean, I'm not saying that it's an exclusive thing, but include my guy friends, my gal friends, and we all have fun together.
If I'm playing a game that involves other people, I don't give a crap what gender, or multiple genders, or neither gender. I don't give a crap what equipment they do or do not have. I do not give a crap who they do or do not go to bed with.
Right.
None of it. I don't care. My interest in these people that I'm playing the games with are you a good teammate? Are you a good enemy?
Good point.
That's it. That's all I care. And I mean, in terms of the game stuff, that's all I care about. If a guy likes another guy, I don't care. If a guy likes a girl, so what? I don't care. Girl likes a girl, don't care. What difference does it make? If you want to go out and bang a monkey, you might want to get that one looked at because that's a little weird. But hey, more power to you as long as the monkey's consenting. If it's legal in your area, fine, whatever. But I don't know. I realize that I am one of the more minority type people in that kind of thing because I really Stephen Colbert, long time ago when he was doing not the Daily Show, what was his show? Colbert Report.
Colbert Report, which was a portion of
Yeah, he was doing a thing, but he would do a thing. I don't see race. I don't see gender. I don't see any of that stuff. My eyes physically will see, okay, that's a girl, that's a guy. That person has a different skin color than I do. My brain says, that's a person, 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 that's a dog on a leash, that's a person, that's a person. So, I'm obviously one of the weird ones in this because I don't care about any of that stuff. And yeah, I see chat room too.
Our ladies in chat room are on point tonight.
Yeah. Yes. It sucks that the way everything happened. I was really looking forward to another possible female in the pro scene.
Yeah.
Just because I really would like there to be more, but at the same time, I want them to deserve it too. Same as the guys, though. That's the same as the guys.
I would say that the reason is because we all know that there are more pro-level female people out there, and that until there's a culture change, few of them are going to bother to step forward because it's not worth the hassle.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm eager to see different. So, and this was not a step in that direction.
Yeah, this is a giant step backwards. But until people are willing to deal with the hassle, it's not going to change either. And then if people keep doing crap like this, you know what I want to see happen? Actually, the reverse of this: a guy gets put into the pros, and people find out a girl's playing his account.
That's so Mulan.
I would love to see that happen.
You'll bring honor to us all.
Shush! No singing real songs, copyright stuff. Even though it's in your voice.
I think if it's less than 8 seconds, we actually can get away with it.
Probably.
Anyway, less than.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to be it for Overwatch. There's been a lot of downer news lately, so we're trying to find news. It's like yay, but it's harder to find right now. It's sad. But we got Warcraft. Let's see if we have any positive news in Warcraft.
Okay, let's see.
Reportedly there's a ton of lag everywhere, which I have not experienced.
Are you kidding? Didn't we talk about this leading up to the show this week?
Yeah.
Where the splash page should have just been one of our characters swimming across like Storm Song Valley?
I have not experienced lag. Like every now and then I'll get a second or two of I can't get off the mount.
Yes. I had a lot of that.
Yeah. But other than that, I've had almost no lag outside of the normal. I haven't noticed any extra lag. I should say that. Because every now and then I do get lag spikes, but that's not because of the game. That was my internet.
Well, I think the reason is that in this next piece of news, Blizzard paid 100 servers to leave the company early.
Yeah, but they bought them back because they're going to do Classic.
No, I've seen a lot of salt out there around, and this is not a negative night for the podcast, not by any means. but people, I read through some absolutely brutal, and the reason this happened is there are major publications online linking articles about World of Warcraft's lag, and the team at World of Warcraft's response to it, like, oh, hey, they're looking into this, we'll see if we can figure out why this is an issue. And then you see the 157 replies to that, and it looks like people who all just got shot down by Bastion. You know, just row after row of salt piles.
Yeah. If they don't know what's causing it, they got, I mean, I would imagine the game code itself is quite extensive.
Yeah.
So it might take them a while to figure out why it's there. I mean,
Yeah.
and then it's not even everybody getting it. Like I said, every now and then I have to wait on the taxi mount to be able to get off the mount. Other than that, I mean, there was a couple of days where, this is before Christmas, where I had real lag. I couldn't do anything.
Yep.
That happened, but that was also possibly my internet. My internet everything was screwing up. It was mostly in WoW, so it might have been the game, but everything was slow for me. I couldn't watch Twitch almost ever, and if I did, I couldn't have anything else open.
I have recently, as of just since the Christmas break started, or a little bit before then, seen some really bad lag. Although I will say this, it's world lag. The raid instances have been really clean. So, because I don't do a whole lot of PvP these days, I used to do a lot of PvP, but recently most of my stuff's PvE and raiding. Hasn't really affected what I'm trying to accomplish. Although doing world quests in the last 2 weeks, whoa, it's been awful. Can't get on my mount, can't get off my mount.
Honestly, that's all I've been doing for the last couple weeks. I've had no issues other than those few days, which was December 20th-ish, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, on the 20, a little bit on 25th. On the 26th, I switched my internet to different internet. Like, it's real internet now. I had, this is no joke, I had 3 up, 10 down as my internet. The bare minimum Twitch allows to be able to broadcast.
I have 10 up, 33 down right now.
On the 26th, I couldn't do it on the 25th, obviously. But on the 26th, my internet switched. I had to get a new modem, a new router, which I thought I was going to have to get both of them, but no, they gave me a 2-in-1. Got it in, set it up. I now have 12 up, which is better than what my down was.
Yeah.
And 120 down.
Yes.
So my internet has improved. So hopefully there'll be less stuttering on my camera for everyone, less frame droppage and all that.
It looks good so far.
If Gal freezes, that's his internet.
That's right.
Or it's Skype, which is possible too.
Well, Skype is its own beast.
Yeah. Skype is Skype. So I've got real internet now, finally. So maybe that's affected my lack of lag because I don't deal with it. But also, my computer is a freaking beast.
Yes.
I'm not kidding when I say that. Like, I could turn my graphics up even higher because I'm getting like 99 frames per second in WoW on Ultra. And the only thing I don't have on, and that's because I don't like it, is sunbeams.
Sunbeams.
That kills frame rates also. Like, it drops me down to 70 from 90 something.
You know what could use, I was going to say, what could use a little bit of improvement in graphic quality is some of the old cinematics from our favorite expansions.
Oh, like, what's it called? Zulaman.
Yes, that's a good one.
They've done that one. What was another one they did? They've probably done some of the old raid ones, like Naxxramas, I think was one they did.
Yes.
But yeah, who put out this most recent one?
The group is called IK Edit, or IK Edit. I don't know how you pronounce it. But they've done Silithus Extinction. recreation of the Warcraft movie trailer using WoW assets, and most recently they re-released the Wrathgate event using WoW assets as a fan film, and I got to watch that.
And keep in mind, this is a high-res version, not what we had. This is the updated graphic stuff.
Right.
So it doesn't look this. I mean, it's the same angles and all that, but all the details have been turned high-res, or current character models, that kind of thing. So everything looks better, and it's actually, I liked it. I mean, it was the same to me. I remember it looking pretty much the same. Then I went and looked at the original version of it, and I was like, oh, wow, that is different. Because in my head, it looked the same. And then I look at the original, I'm like, oh.
I would say the original one is significantly better than, let's say, Warcraft 3 assets, as far as the models and stuff like that, like significantly better, but it still had that, it looked like almost a cinematic through like Warcraft 3 assets, beefed up Warcraft 3 assets. It was a very good effort, and it looked like it should be there. It looked like it was made by people at Blizzard, and maybe Warlords of Draenor era graphic quality. Would that be fair to say? Maybe Legion? Okay, because I would say that the Battle for Azeroth cinematic quality and some of the Legion cinematic quality, like this with using in-game assets, has been better, but not by much. This is an impressive effort.
Yeah, it hasn't been like the Sourfang things where, oh wow, he looks like he might hit me.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, the Wrathgate is the most recent one, which tells me Ulduar will probably be his next one, because they seem to be going in somewhat order-ish. I mean, for big major things, they haven't done everything. So. And I say his, it's theirs, technically.
Yeah, I can edit people, or ick edit.
Yeah.
Or I get it. I don't know.
Yeah. I get it.
I get it. Maybe that's it. I get it.
Yeah.
Because the IKE are the capital letters.
Yeah. Hey, there's something new for you, in particular, Galf.
Oh no, not Wookiee time, but a new hunter pet, and this one is not what I expected. It is the How to Tame Crawgs. The blood-soaked tome location has been found. Was first connected to a small thing, and now it is seemingly a guaranteed drop from normal heroic and mythic Zool. Oh my god, I'm going to have to go back and kill him. And it's account wide. Now the
should have been with us on Wednesday, man.
It includes Crawgs and blood ticks of various colors, which are mostly Nazmir. The blood ticks include they're the flying bat / spider deals. But the thing that makes me sad is the Crawg I like the most is the one where you jump in his mouth and he runs you across the swamp. So I wish taming a Crawg would have something to do with like
fast travel.
Well, or having to do something other than the standard taming effort because of.
I know that's the Alliance one. The Horde one, there is an Etten out in Storm Song?
Yes.
I think it's one of the zones where he carries you, and then when you dismount the Etten, he throws you.
Yep, the Ettins are up where the sheep are.
Yeah, he throws you not very far, but he still throws you. Whereas the Crawg, he just spits you out where you are. So, but yeah, I've got both of them. It's fun. I threw that in there just because I know I make fun of you a lot, and I figured I'd throw you a bone for a change.
Oh, funny.
But yeah, Zool. So we got next up. We got today for another little bit. I think it's still there.
Yeah, day left.
The See You Later bundle.
Right.
Which is all the stuff that no one cares about thrown into a bundle at a huge discount. Now, when I say this, all the stuff you don't care about, I own all of these things. Admittedly, the helms were a contest win. I did not buy them myself. Except, I don't have the flying goat.
So, the part that I understand is good about this is they're retiring or entering hibernation like the Disney Vault.
Exactly like the Disney Vault. They will come back.
They will come back.
I will bet money we will see this, maybe not next year, but within the next 5 years, we'll see it at least once.
But they're saying it's, for me in particular, I already own some of the items, so it's $150 value for $40.70.
And if you own anything, it's discounted even further. Like in my case, that $40 is only $10. Because I only need the goat mount. And you know what? Didn't buy it. Because I collect mounts. I don't want that mount. It is ugly. Even by my standards, it is ugly.
Wow. That's quite a statement from you.
I hate that mount.
So, I think that this is something where it's a cosmetic in most cases, except, I mean, some of these are battle pets, and that's where I've got mine, is the battle pets. But this is a smart move. I'm tempted to get it.
Business-wise, yeah.
I like this as an offering from Blizzard, and I bet you they're going to make a bunch of bank on this.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
That being said, in terms of dollars and cents, it makes sense for them to do it. The fact that it's 100% digital stuff, the code for these things are already in the game. It costs them zero money. It's just literally a click. You have to buy it. It's unlocked for you. It's already there. They're not adding files to the system. It's there. You just don't have all the access to everything.
Right.
Why are they going away in the first place? No one's buying them? You're saving...
To create scarcity.
Exactly. It's falsifying scarcity.
Right.
And honestly, almost no one likes the helms. I've got the fire horns on a demon hunter because I thought it'd be funny. I've got the red helm on my Death Knight because it matched his transmog.
I think that's where the opportunity could have been here. Like the ice mask helmet would be cool for a Frost DK transmog, but the problem is, it doesn't necessarily match.
Yeah, I mean,
so
there are things in the game that they might match. They were just overpriced at $15. End of story.
Yeah.
With the pets and the mounts added in, if you want them and you just never got around to it, fine. Give them the money for this. It's fine. I'm not going to be mad at you if you buy it. Don't bother buying me it. Because I only need the goat mount, and I don't want the goat mount because I hate that mount. It looks terrible to me.
You're funny.
Exactly. But I just don't like they're hinting at they're going away forever. But if you look at it, it says see you later, which means probably coming back. And then if you look down a little bit on the screen itself in the little fine print, may come back at a later date.
It says going into hibernation.
Yeah. I can't believe. To me, this is to make up for the getting rid of those 100 people.
I can't believe that you are knocking these, items, but whatever.
In terms of a discount and a deal, it's great. I just don't want that mount. I own all the other things on that thing, so it's just that mount is not a purchase for me. If that bundle went down to $5, because just for that mount, I might consider it. But it's at $10, so I don't care.
So what you're saying is, if you could you would
twice
prefer,
the discount.
Well, I was going to say you would prefer maybe an item in game that has that kind of visual value, but perhaps also comes with stats and a daily cooldown.
I don't want a daily cooldown, but I would take this extra. Well, it depends on what the stats are, and are they beneficial to me?
Maybe Azurite powers.
Mm, depends on the powers.
The reason I bring it up is with the Battle of Dazalor coming up, there is a raid encounter of opulence.
For those of you not paying attention at home, this particular boss is the giant thing made out of gold.
Yeah, like the living treasure vault of the genie from Aladdin turning into an elemental of loot and attacking you.
And
So
does that law loot attack you?
what they have found is there are 4 brand new transmog looks coming from these new headpieces. There's a cloth, leather, mail, and plate one, and they've all got their name: the Crown of whatever's Rain or whoever it is.
Opulence, yeah.
Well, there's 4. There's a Crown of Seducer, Crown of Akrul's Dark Reign, Electrified Crown of Rahua, and Crown of Bloody Succession. They have different transmog looks based on the level of difficulty you've completed the encounter in. One for LFR, Normal, Heroic, and Mythic. The LFR one looks like it's a lead crown with gems. Normal is gold. Heroic is like some sort of rosy gold. And Mythic is a platinum or silver look.
Platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would only make silver wouldn't make sense, so it'd have to be platinum.
The heroic one kind of throws me, where it's sort of like pinkish.
It's rose gold. People like rose gold oftentimes more than regular gold. I don't.
So,
whatever.
The cool thing is, not only are these transmog, but they're level appropriate as far as eye level. They're Azurite helms. And they've got a not daily, it's a 20-hour cooldown to pry a gem out of the crown, which has no lasting effect on the crown. It's just like you pry a gem out, and it's got Sunset Amber reduces a party member's size by 50% for 5 minutes, so shrink a party member. For those trolls out there,
troll a party member.
Right. Star Topaz, make a friendly player sparkle. 30-second cooldown. Crackling Tourmaline.
Troll a party member.
Increases your speed by 120 for 1 hour. That is legit.
I call that.
Right? And it's random which one you get. Emerald of Vigor restores 33,251 health. I bet you it has a very similar icon to the Health Stone from Warlocks. Diamond of Sustenance draws...
You can do that to somebody else, or is it to yourself? The heal one.
It looks like yourself. Shares a cooldown with healing potions, which is why I'm making that assumption.
Okay.
Diamond of Sustenance. Draw sustenance from the gem, restoring health and mana over 20 seconds. If you spend at least 10 seconds focusing on the gem, you'll become well-fed.
Okay, so it's the fall asleep potion.
The Diamond of Sustenance is a food, or replaces a food item.
Oh, okay.
You become well-fed and gain 75 in a stat for 1 hour.
Oh, okay, so it's a mini feast for one person.
Yeah. And then the Sapphire of Brilliance increases all stats by 400 for 1 minute, 5-minute cooldown, and shares 1-minute cooldowns with other combat potions. The Sapphire of Brilliance would be great. You can't stack them because there's a 20-hour cooldown, and the items created by the effect only have a 20-hour duration. So it's a real-world timer.
They're a one use.
Right. You can use one of those every 20 hours.
Well, no, I mean, like, if you got that last gem out,
yeah,
it's a one-off use. You can only use it the one time.
You know what?
I'm thinking using that as the pre-potion instead of an actual potion, because it might actually be more overall, because it's lasting longer than a potion, and it's not as much stats, but it might be this the potion of prolonged power kind of thing.
So I'm looking at Sapphire Brilliance, and I'm looking at the tooltip for the actual item. It doesn't say one use, so it could be that you could pre-pot that one.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah. So that's yet
it's
to be
not going to be
determined.
a constant thing though. It's not going to be like an everyday thing because it's random which one you get. You might get it on a day you're not freaking raiding.
Right, and because it's a real world timer, you can't just save it.
Yeah, that's the downside.
Still.
But it's random, so it is what it is, right?
That's right. It's cool that they give us fun new toys like this.
Yeah, the timer on it makes it less fun. But yeah. Speaking of new toys, remember in Mists of Pandaria where there was that one rare out near the big dinosaur, Galleon, and he had a chance to drop this toy that drew aggro off of you, and he would just run around and yeah, we got a new one, and it's off a vendor, but you have to have completed a certain quest line and have to have a Horde character to get it. But Alliance characters can use it.
I might have to go and get me one of these.
Yeah. What's it called? I don't have the screen up for me. I'm sorry.
Ronka's escape plan toy.
Yeah. Basically, you get to surround yourself in a treasure chest looking thing, and it drops aggro.
The tooltip is the Gold Tusk Gang's go-to trick to evade guards, Sand Fury trolls, angry guests, and debt collectors.
Yeah. So the fact that it dropped aggro makes it amazing, especially when you're looking at, say, Mythic Pluses and Raids. It's going to be the go-to thing. You're going to get your entire group to run through. The person who ran in first will drop this toy, resetting everything, because your raid team is smart enough not to attack everything on its way, because they know you're skipping. Which makes it, obviously, not our raid team. And then everyone comes through. No one died. You skip all that trash. You're on to the next boss. Absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with that, right?
Except, update, this toy has now been hot fixed to not work in Mythic Plus dungeons and raids. Still has the same function in open world.
That's it. I'm done with this game.
Flip the table. Flip the table.
Yeah, no.
But however,
I'm fine with this change, honestly. It makes sense.
Here's how this works. To use Ronka's escape plan, click on the button, gives you a targeting reticle, put it on the ground, and you'll place a pot with bananas and automatically jump inside. This will immediately drop combat, and any mobs that you're in combat with cannot cast new spells or whatever, but dots that are already on you will continue to tick while you're inside the pot. To leave, to get out of the pot, you have to click a standard leave vehicle arrow.
Yep, so any dots on you still tick, so you can still possibly die. But you'll drop combat. It's out in the world. Nothing can target you, nothing can attack you, which makes it real entertaining for what world PvP is going to turn into.
But hiding in a pot of bananas.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems like something they should have announced on April 1st.
Nah. I mean, maybe, but I'm perfectly fine with the fact that it does not work inside of raids or Mythic Pluses, because it would get abused to crap and back, because we already know people are going to abuse things if they figure out how to do it. This thing was a guarantee we're going to abuse stuff, so it got hotfixed real quick. So, yay. It would have been fun to do it once, but after that,
yes,
it would have been more of a...
However, I would like to skip the trash before Zool.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not possible. What I would like to do is be able to click that thing after you clear the trash, after you kill Zool. Click that before Zool comes out. Have everyone, all the trash gathered in the middle. Have them rooted or stunned or something so that your tank doesn't die too. And then someone click it and they all fall. And then let Mithrax kill them all. Still got to kill the boss because the trash will come back.
How about this? Put the pot down on the floor, in the middle of the floor. Have someone open the floor, and have the pot with you in it drop down in front of Mithrax, and it's just like bananas.
I don't know. One, I don't know that would
it
Obviously,
wouldn't drop.
you can't use it in the raid anyways. It doesn't matter. But
I don't think the pot would drop.
I don't think it would drop either.
But that would be funny.
That'd be funny either way. Mithrax
Dropping
would
a
be
pot full of bananas in front of Mithrax.
Yeah, I mean, would it? If it did drop, what would happen? Because you'd be down there, which starts the encounter, but you're not attackable, which resets the encounter,
Which kills you.
which kills you, but you're not attackable. You're not taking a dot.
I don't know.
You just broke the game. You just pally bubbled on Elisand.
Elisand. We'll have to see someday.
Do we want to go over anything? This last thing, it's the year in review of WoW. It really doesn't have a whole lot except for, this is what happened this month, that kind of thing.
I mean,
or do we want to have our own year in review?
I'm looking through this list, and we've hit pretty much
all of it over the year.
This is like a week by week of the Epic Fail podcast review
of WoW. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, in terms of Blizzard gaming stuff, we're gonna get rid of all the drama involving players who aren't really themselves, all the drama of employees not working there anymore. What would be your favorite 1, 2, 3 things that happened this year, Blizzard gaming related?
I'm going to be really selfish and say that being asked to be a co-lead on the Hydral Volunteer Fire Department and the success that we've had. I've always had fun with the team, but I mean, honestly, that's been a highlight of the year for me in gaming because I feel like the team has really kicked ass.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's me. I'm just...
No, I know. Fun story. We were struggling on a boss, and I won't say who it was, but someone in Raid was like, if we don't kill this boss on Monday, we have to listen to Galv with the explanation. You know what happened? Boss died.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we got the Mithrax, and we just didn't have the right comp for it, or something was up, so it was one of those things. But
just remember that Zool fight, the first time we came up on Zool in normal, which is one of my favorite stories of the year.
We did it in heroic too.
Well, yeah. So we roll up on Zool in normal for the first time, and I've already done it in a different raid, and so I explained phase 1. Because my assumption was we wouldn't get through phase 1, so why bother on phase 2? It's just a procedural thing. And what do you know? Halfway, we get halfway through the fight, and we transition into phase 2. Not only that, but I'm the one that got killed. I think I was the only one dead on that pull. And
reminds me, I gotta give Helen that 300 gold.
Right. The fire department one-shot normal Zool, only having instructions on phase 1 of 2. And phase 2 is arguably the tougher technical part.
Yeah.
But phase 1 is the one that you need the most coordination to get through.
We struggled a little bit more on heroic, but we did one-shot that one too.
Yeah.
And I think we had 3 people die on heroic. I think you were one of them.
I think so. I try to take on too much.
Yeah.
Right.
But
that was
100
so much
dies
fun.
is a good time for me.
I'm just yelling out raid instructions for what's happening, and the group just does it. And they just kill the shit out of it.
Every now and then, the group just does things right.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's usually once every couple months, but...
It was a brilliant time. So those were 2 of the highlights for me. Overwatch League launching, I think I've really enjoyed. I didn't get to keep up with as much of it as I wanted, but I wanted to. I felt like that was. I like gaming. I like professional sports. I've been an athlete. I've been a gamer. I like to see that what they did with Overwatch League opened a door culturally for a lot of people who gaming is their way of being an extrovert in their life. That's how they connect with the world. And to normalize that to a degree in such a responsible way with a little little R for responsible. You know what I'm talking about. Just, I thought that was pretty cool. So those are my moments I can think of. What about you, Draven?
So you went deep on that last one, man. I got to think of something interesting. I was just going to be like, oh, I like turtles.
One Somdi!
Yeah. Barring all the drama, which gave stuff for the show, because that's always nice when there's news for the show. It's like, we were going to have a show, but nothing happened this week. Barring that, some of my favorite things, honestly, I really enjoyed BFA's launch. Drustvar is by far my favorite zone. Nazmir being the second, which is strange considering a lot of people hate both of those zones. But
World of Witcher.
Witcher, yeah. Well, I'm
Drustvar, World of Witcher.
Yeah, I'm Halloween Town. You know, it's they're the Halloween zones. Of course, I'm gonna like them. Desert, I'm not so big of a fan of. So Vol'dun, even though it has the little rat people, but honestly, I've been playing a lot of Ash when I play Overwatch, and I've been having sniping. I'm still getting used to. I just like calling a giant robot to kill my entire enemy team and getting play of the game because of it. All right, here. I'll give you a sappy one since you went kind of deep with one. Despite all the crap I give you, Galv, I like having you on the show. I wouldn't say it's my top favorite, top 3 favorite things ever, but I gotta give you crap still. So.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I appreciate that.
I despite all the crap I give you, I do actually like having you around for the show. It makes it more entertaining because I know I can be negative. I try not to be. I call myself a realist, but honestly, a lot of times I can be kind of pessimistic. You kind of counterbalance that a bit better.
My Pollyanna beard.
Yeah, well, that too.
Green screen ahead cells. Oh yeah, brightens things up.
Yeah. Instead of the dark background, which I'm working on a new background. It's not done yet.
I have a question for you, and I will try to tone this optimistically. Looking ahead into 2019, what are 1 or 2 of the things you hope for the most out of your Blizzard gaming experience?
Number 1 will be the same as it's always been. Fun and quality. I put those together. As long as that happens, I mean, a lack of microtransactions will be great. Especially in the PC games. But, barring that, as long as the games are fun and they look good, play good, they don't have to be perfect. It's, especially a game like WoW, it's impossible to make it perfect. There's always going to be one pixel that if you step on it, you're going to fall through the world somewhere because it happens.
That's the magic.
That's the magic. You can see the underside of the maelstrom from underground. Been there, done that. As long as the games are fun and of sufficient quality, that's all I ever hope for in games. I could say things like, well, I don't want a My Little Pony level, but Diablo did that, and it was fun too.
Dude, just hacking the skull in half of the floating smiley clouds and,
the teddy
dousing
bears.
yourself in teddy bear entrails and unicorn guts. Yeah.
I mean, it's
surprisingly fun.
Yeah, it was one of those weird things. I was like, this is annoying. It hurts my eyes, but it's really fun to do just because you're killing all those innocent things. Right. But I really hope, if I was going to pick one thing overall that wasn't specific to, like, say, Warcraft, because that's the game I play the most of the time, it would be that Heroes isn't as dead as a lot of people think it is. The esports is gone for now. They might do their own, like, the community might do its own thing. I'd like to see more popular for StarCraft. we don't talk about it too much on the show, but this way, when Alessander sends stuff, we can actually use it.
So one of the things you're hoping is that Heroes never dies.
I'm ending the show there.
Oh.
What about you? I'll let the show keep going for another minute.
So I would say that my hope is that Blizzard is one of my top favorite publishers. Obviously, that's why we do what we do. But that the spirit of Blizzard and their how they like to provide us with that quality and fun that you spoke of persists and carries forward, and it positively impacts the culture of Activision Blizzard overall. I think that would be my hope for them. I'm never going to begrudge anyone to make $1, but definitely want, similar to what you said, I want to see fun and quality, and not just microtransactions. So yeah.
All right. Well, then, with that, we're going to call that a show because it's been quite a while. We've been going for a bit, and we did have a couple things that started late, all that fun stuff, but we're still going along. Do you have any shout-outs? How do people get a hold of you, etc., and so forth?
You know what? Shout-outs, family and friends who are part of my family during the holiday season. And big hopes for the New Year's, and that includes a lot of my buddies from games. A lot of stuff going on, and people, it's a new year. Turn a page, do something good for yourself. As far as getting a hold of me, Galvanid Online is my Twitter handle. I haven't used it as much over the last 2 weeks because of travel. If you want to catch me online, I do streaming of our raids and a couple of other a la carte streams at Twitch TV/Galvanid. Always appreciate subs and follows and shares and hosts. So thank you so much. What about you, Draven?
Easiest way to get a hold of me is over on the little Twitter. I check it multiple times a day, generally, at Draven Dresden. And if you send me with that on it, I'll see it when I do check it, because that's how notifications work. Yay.
Yes, it is.
Yes. As for shout-outs, I am going to give a shout-out to the poor, unfortunate entities that are letting me do a Dungeons & Dragons 1 or 2 shot, depending on how long it goes, as their DM.
Your victims.
They're letting me be a god in a world.
Oh, boy.
They volunteered for this. So they're going to get my shout-outs. I don't know if we're streaming it. If we do, it will be on Friday next week. Or this week now, since it's a day after. It'll be the 11th, I believe. Friday the 11th? The 11th, yeah. It would be around 7:30 Eastern until I don't know when we're done. But it'll be 1 or 2 shot, depending on when people have to go. It'll be interesting. I've sent a few people some what I had done at the time. I have more since then. And they were like, okay, looks like you planned plenty. I'm like, did I know? I'll put it this way in terms of how much information there are. A Google Sheet doc that is 5 pages long. Spreadsheets, 4 of them, just for magic items, enemies, stats, that kind of thing, of everything they could fight. Multiple characters built. A couple of them they don't know about, like the main bad guy. A couple of their allies they know, but yeah. And I did a lot of work, like battle maps. I don't know if we're actually going to get to use them or not.
Oh, I used to love doing those on graph paper.
Well, Roll20 was being a jerk, so I don't know if we're actually going to get to use them. It would literally be for positioning only. They're going to roll and all that. So, it'll be entertaining. At least for me.
Lord over your tiny universe.
All right. As for everything else, the legal stuff you got to talk about, we have a Patreon. If you feel like donating any money, $1, $2, this is per month, not per episode. Some places do episodes. It's per month. But if you feel like it, I'll look at you like you're insane. But I'll still thank you because there's nothing wrong with insanity anyway, in my opinion. Patreon.com/podcastepicfail. We got a Discord if you want to come over. We actually had a nice, interesting conversation this morning about random things. bit.ly/epicfail Discord. And then, other than the heartbeat at the beginning, which I borrowed from something else, the music used at the beginning of the show, the opening sounder, bensound.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, aka give them credit, you can use their stuff. They like it, you like it, it's fun. So, with that, do we have any last words for the show this week?
Have a fantastic 2019. That's the best part of the show.